Okay, good morning. And as you guys heard from the morning message, I'm not yet able to go over the show what you know from yesterday because not everybody has done it. So fingers crossed that that gets done today. And then tomorrow we're going to be able to fully go over the show what you know. You might be getting from me today in your inbox a screenshot of your, I think you guys can tell what you got, out of 15, 10 out of 15 or whatever. But then I'll send you a screenshot later today of the exact questions, so you see the red and the green for whatever you got right and wrong. Okay, today we are moving into our very last lesson, or very last unit of math for grade 6, and it's the most fun, and it's kind of easy, so it's always why I save it for last. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys this. I'm gonna post this on our math page. You do not need to hand this in, okay? I do not need to see it. But what I would like you to do, and what I would encourage you to do, is still print it off and still do it, because the terminology on here is very excellent to do. And if we were in class, we'd be spending this full day doing the reboot, where we'd have the one from Unit 7, and then we'd be going through the self-evaluation. So you could do that. You could find your other one that you have, hopefully in your binder at home, and then you could go through the self-evaluation on the front side, right? It'd be the same thing as this. And then you do the back, and then the back side's already done. So today, this is what you'd be working on, is the back side of this. Okay, so you have to go to textbook chapter 8 for transformations, which is part of shape and space. So these are all the things we're going to be kind of working on. And then these are just a couple things to define. So what does successive mean? That's an important word you should be able to figure out. Even go to the glossary. And then show counterclockwise and show clockwise, just using an arrow kind of deal. Define translation, rotation, reflection. Draw an example of a 90-degree turn, a 180-degree turn, and a 270-degree turn. Okay, so you kind of show that with arrows. Okay, so that is, I'm going to post that for you guys. Again, I do not need to see it, but I suggest that you do it. It's only going to help you, because these terms are going to pop up quite a bit. And if you're able to understand successive, words like that, then it's going to be easier for you, right off the get-go. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now we're going to get right into our first lesson here. Okay, so in your notebook, you might need to do the thing today where you're pausing me a little bit. So our new topic is called transformations. Okay, and it's Unit 8 of Chapter 8. Well, it's Unit 8 that we're doing in school, 8 of 8, and then it's also the last chapter in our textbook. All right. Here is the overall I can statement, which you would write in for today. So we're doing types of transformations today and tomorrow. Okay, so I can perform and describe single transformations of a 2D shape in the first quadrant of a Cartesian plane. Okay, so perform means you would actually do a transformation, and then describing, you'd see a transformation, you'd say, oh yeah, they move the shape like this. So both of them, okay? Of a 2D shape, so we're not doing 3D, just squares and triangles and stuff like that. In the first quadrant of a Cartesian plane. So Cartesian plane, we should already recognize that from our earlier unit, right? It's just the coordinate grid. All right, so naming shapes and images. Okay, this is a little bit of background work. So we're only taking 2 sort of pages or 2 slides of notes today. So this first one is very foundational. It's quite important to be able to sort of wrap your head around. So, all right, I'm not going to be reteaching the naming of ordered pairs because we've already done that. Remember that the airplane has to go across before it takes off. So if I was naming this one right here, it would be, assuming this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one would be 5, comma, and has it taken off at all? No. So it would be 0, right? If I were to do this B over here, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, comma, 1, 2, that's a bad example. 4, comma, 4. Okay. Anyway, I think you can already get the hang of that. So that's just, you need to be able to understand that past knowledge that we had from our previous unit. Okay, right. Okay, so remember the x-axis, so it's x-axis first, and then y-axis, the plane has to move across before it can lift off. Okay, as I just said. You don't need to write that in, though, if you don't want to. Okay, all vertices have names, such as when we did our earlier units of like angles, right? Like this would be called triangle A, B, C. Okay, so the original shape would look like this. Okay, original for this example would be called A, B, C. Now, we're creating an image. This is going to be our transformed shape, which is the whole name of our unit, right? It's called transformations. So transformation, kind of like transformer, is we're changing a shape. Well, we're not actually changing the shape itself. We're changing the location of a shape, okay? So of course, we can see that this shape is the same. It's just in a different position. It's in a different orientation. So the image, this is super important. The image is called A, and then you notice there's a little dash up here, right? A, it kind of looks like an apostrophe. It's actually called prime. That's the math term for this. So this is called A prime, B prime, C prime. So when we see this, we know, so this is called A, right, okay, so A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, so basically, AKA, it means the new image. So if we have one little tick, it means this is the firstly transformed image. Okay, hopefully that kind of makes sense. So original, this is the K prime, triangle prime, ABC prime, which is the AKA new image. Okay, all right, now we're getting right into our transformations. There are 3 types of transformations. Today we're only going to be learning about one of them. And then tomorrow and the next day, we're going to be learning about the other 2. So number 1 is called a translation. Okay, so a translation is a type of transformation, right? So we're describing and performing single transformations. So one type of transformation is called a translation, which is basically AKA the slide of a shape in any direction. Okay, so here would be an example of a slide. I'll give you a quick little preview. The other ones that we're going to be doing, and I guess if we were in class, we'd be saying, who knows the other type of transformations? Because you guys should have done this last year. So we have translation, and then what else do we have? We have a reflection, which would be like a flip, right? Like a mirror image reflection. We're doing that tomorrow. And then the last one is called a rotation, so like a turn. Okay, so translation, slide, reflection, flip, okay, like a flip, mirror image, and then a rotation would be like a turn, okay? So we're gonna be learning and practicing those other 2 tomorrow. We're starting with the easiest one today, which is translation, okay? So a translation, I've already said, basically is a slide of a shape in any direction. So the slide in this example, it has the image the original, the slide has moved to the right. Okay, that's how we describe it. The slide could go up, the slide could go left, the slide could go down. In this case, the slide has gone right. Okay, so after a translation, the image is still facing the same way. You know what? This is, because this is symmetrical, this actually could be a reflection also. But I guess they're telling us it's a slide. For something that's not symmetrical, like imagine we had a C, right? Or an S or something like that, then we'd know for sure that it was a slide because it's just gonna be like a direct, like it's gonna be facing the same way, okay? All right, another thing that's important for translations are the 2 shapes are still congruent. So we should know that term from earlier with our angles. Congruent means the same, right? They're identical twins, they're pairs. So we haven't like blown this up, we haven't shrunk it. It's still congruent, it's still the exact same size. Okay, so when we're describing, which is kind of our first part here, describing a translation, we would say a couple of things. We would first of all need to be able to list or identify the vertices. Okay, you're going to be practicing this today. You're going to have to list the vertices using ordered pairs. So we can't really do that with this one because they don't have it on a Cartesian plane. But when we're doing examples in a Cartesian plane, then you'll be able to do the ordered pair stuff like we have practiced from our earlier units. And then the next thing you need to describe is how many units the object moved, either up or down or left, or right. It could have done both actually too. It could have done left, 2, or sorry, right, 2, up, 1, maybe. Okay, so there could be like, it possibly could have like a couple transformations within it. So how many units did the object move? And I'm going to show that, but basically a unit would be like a place on the Cartesian grid. So maybe it moved like, this one to me, it would look like maybe it moved like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we pick a point and then you track it. 1, I'm just kind of guessing here. I think it's something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could be off on that because there's of course no Cartesian plane, but I'll show you another example when we get to a better one. And then you also have to say, oh, okay, right, or how many okay, so how many units, right? So that's whether it moved like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they also might ask you using directions. So in this case, this moved east, right? Never eat soggy wheat or never eat shredded wheat or whatever. So yeah, it moved east. Okay, you might have to be able to say that as well. Okay, so describe the translation of the new image. Okay, we're gonna do this one instead. Okay, this is just the same stuff. Okay, so we're going to, okay, I haven't put a new image in yet. I was just gonna draw this in actually for us. Okay, so if I have, okay, so I would suggest that you guys take a moment to sketch this in your books. Okay, so using your grid, we should draw this. Okay, I'm gonna draw my D here, and then I'm going to put my C. I have to make sure that I'm drawing this accurately, right? So if I know that this is going to be, I'm going to label this as D prime, and then this one is going to be C prime. And I knew to make this in this exact spot because look, how far away is my C from my D? Well, 1, 2 over, and then 1 up. 1, 2 over, and then 1 up, right? And then my B is 1 in and then 2 up. So I'm going to go 1 in and then 1, 2 up. Okay, kind of like surgery. This is like pretty exact stuff. So here is my B prime. Okay, and then where's my A prime? Well, I'm going to go down from B1 and then I'm going to go over to the left 2. So down 1 and then over 1, 2. Okay, alrighty. So then this is called A. Oh, not A, but it's called A prime. Okay, then ta-da! I'm gonna connect my dots. You guys should be, oh no, should use a ruler. I wish I had a ruler. And then here, and then here. Okay, so you see that I've made my image. I've made my image A, B, C, D, or A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime is my image of this triangle. So I'm going to describe this. How have I moved this image? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on one spot. I'm going to pick my A vertice. Then I'm going to pick here my A vertice. Okay, you could choose any of them because it should all be the same. Now I'm going to count how far have I moved. Well, I've moved 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've moved 3 to the left, right? Left. Okay, 3 left. And how far do I go down? Okay, so I'm here, right? I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 down. And 3 down. Okay? Down. All right, there we go. Do we see? Are we confirmed with that? Maybe I'll show this again with a different color. So here I had my A, right? And I went 1, 2, 3 to the left. And then I went, so I have to always make sure I'm using only the intersection points, right? Like just where the dot would actually fall. And then 1, 2, 3 down. Okay? So to describe my translation, I have done a translation 3 left and 3 down. Okay? Hopefully that is kind of good for you guys. Your homework today is workbook, easy. Pages 102 and 104. You're going to see we're going to skip 103. So it's this stuff here. Okay? 102 is here. Now this is totally review from earlier. All you have to do is match the ordered pair, blah, blah, blah. We've done this so many times. And then you have to plot the ordered pair here. And then it says join A to E. Join the figure. So you have to draw them in order. And then you connect A to E. What figure have you drawn? So you have to name the shape. A little bit of also review. Then we're gonna skip this page and we're gonna go down to this one. They give you a little review again of translation, which we're focusing on today, right? The quadrilateral was translated 4 up, 4 squares right, and then 5 squares up. Okay, so that would be an example here. Tomorrow we're gonna do reflection and rotation. So for today, all that you need to do is identify what has happened. You don't even have to draw it. You just have to identify what has happened in this translation and then write the coordinates of the quadrilateral and its image. Okay, so that's it for today. Hopefully it goes well. So I do suggest that you print off, if you can, the title page so you can do a little bit of the warm up on that and then print it off. I guess that would be the best. I'll also put this on, I'll put it on Seesaw, just if you guys can't print it off, then you can still do it that way. But I'm not marking that as homework, okay? So you do not need to hand that in, okay? Good, so that's it for today and see you guys tomorrow.